Hi guys, good morning. Now last time I spoke to you from this room, I was having a moan about how early it was. I was up to drive to Southampton to board P&O Arcadia for that short cruise about 4 weeks ago. Now today is Embarkation Day again, and it's a little bit different in the fact that it's currently 3:05 in the morning, so I feel as though I haven't slept. I think I've had about 3 hours of sleep before getting up to head to what is now the airport. So yes, Embarkation Day, but this one involves a flight, which is always a little bit more exciting, a little bit more interesting, because there's another chunk there that can go wrong. Now, where am I going today? So I am going to Birmingham Airport to get on a flight over to Tenerife, which is one of the Canary Islands. And over there, I'll be joining P&O Azura for a 7-night cruise around the Canary Islands. Now, I can't wait because, to be honest, with all the travel that I've done this year, you'll have seen in my previous vlogs that, the weather hasn't been great. I think I got about an hour of sunshine on that last trip, but I'm hoping that the Canaries should be quite a safe bet at this time of year, so hopefully get a bit of heat later today. But for now, the flight leaves in 3 hours, so probably about time for me to get out of this house and head down to the airport, so I'll catch up with you properly when we get down there. Okay, it's now 4:15. I've, as you can maybe tell, just arrived at the airport, so just heading on to the terminal now. The flight leaves in 2 hours, so should be plenty of time, but I'm just hoping that the queues aren't really bad. We went through a period there where just getting through airports was a bit of a nightmare, so hopefully today it's all fixed. But yeah, I will take you down to the terminal now and catch up with you properly when we get in and through security. And of course, the minute I record a clip and say that it's been really busy recently, hopefully it won't be too bad. Honestly, wait until you see how quiet this is. I know it was early in the morning, but I honestly couldn't believe this. There just wasn't any queue, and yeah, pretty much straight in. So yeah, this has all gone well so far, I would say. It's taken about 40 minutes to get all the way from check-in through security, and I'm now in the departures waiting to find out what gate to go to. So long may that continue. Hopefully at the other end it's all pretty straightforward. Flight time today is about 4.5 hours, so my plan really is to go now and get a decaf coffee and just find somewhere to perch and chill for an hour before we go. I am having decaf because I desperately need to sleep, because yeah, the downside to a flight that leaves at 6 o'clock in the morning is that, you don't really get a great deal of sleep that night, unless you can go to bed early, which I'm just incapable of doing. But yeah, so flight today, 4.5 hours, I'm going to try and sleep, and then we'll be landing in Tenerife South. Now, it's probably pretty important to note for anyone that's familiar with Tenerife, you will know that the majority of Brits go to the south of the island for holidays, but the cruises actually tend to leave from the north, so we're going to land in the south and I would imagine get put on a bus to get transferred up to the ship, which is at Santa Cruz in the north of the island. Now, I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what the north looks like. I remember growing up, we would always go on family holidays to the south, and my parents always said that it was pretty different up north and they had a bit of a different climate. And I remember them saying it was a lot greener, although I'm not sure if that's true. We'll figure it out when we get there. Maybe I've just made that memory up in my mind. But yeah, time will tell. So I guess now the next time I actually speak to you will probably be on the ship, which feels a bit weird saying that in a cold, miserable Birmingham. But yeah, I'll see you in a few hours on board Azura. Now, after flying for about 4 hours, we started to descend into Tenerife Airport. Now, The coastline along by the airport in Tenerife is always such a nostalgic one to land into. What you're seeing now, if you've never been here before, this is mostly all the big hotels and the resorts that a lot of us Brits would tend to go to on holiday. So it's always really, really nice when you land here to look back at the places that you've been before on your way to somewhere new. So that's us landed now in Tenerife, and I will tell you one thing, and that is I can't wait to get this bag and get on the bus and just get to the ship. So yeah, after waiting for probably about 10 or 15 minutes actually, so pretty good, the bags came and we were all ready to head out to the front of the airport. So when we got out to arrivals, there was someone waiting with a P&O Cruises clipboard, and they basically pointed you in the direction of a couple of buses that had been lined up so that when the flights land, they can basically pap you straight on a bus and get you up to the ship. So you can see here, this is sort of heading over to the bus and then getting on the bus in a sec. And then the next thing, we will be up at the terminal. Now, the journey from Tenerife South to Santa Cruz de Tenerife, which is where we got on the ship, took about 40 minutes. Now, I won't comment on whether or not I fell asleep on that. I may or may not have fallen asleep on the person beside me, which is never the most comfortable situation. But yeah, check-in was an absolute breeze. Wait until you see how quiet this is. I couldn't believe, it must just be because they're staggered and you do all your check-in really before you fly. So it makes it so straightforward here. You literally arrive, pick up a couple of documents, and then without further ado, you are on the ship. So yeah, let's get on board. And just like that, we're here through security, and the ship is literally right here. So yeah, let's get on and I will see you up in the room. Now, the first thing you'll have to do when you get on the ship is go and find your muster station. Now, really straightforward, they're labelled A, B, C and so on and so forth on your cruise card. You look at your number or your letter and then you just head to where that is. Literally takes 5 minutes and then we're in the room. Hello, now as you can probably tell, I'm now in my cabin and that means that I'm officially on holiday, which is great news. Now, usually I would come and get set up and give you an overview today, but to be honest, I am knackered. I completely forgot how much it takes out of you by the time you factor in getting to the airport early, getting on the flight, sitting on the flight, transfers to the ship. So yeah, what I need now is just to get up to the buffet, grab a coffee and grab a bite to eat. So I'll come back and walk you around this room after because I'm really intrigued by this room actually. You'll notice that they've got, hopefully you can see, yeah you can, they've got the pull down beds in here, one there and one over there, which I've actually never seen in a cabin. So while I'm not going to set it up because I fear that one of them could come down and kill me if I tried that, I am going to come down and talk to you a little bit about what you could use this room for and how you could have it set up if you cruise in it as a family or as a group. But look, for now, let's get up to the buffet and grab a bite to eat, and I'll see you back down here shortly. Okay, so you guys could probably tell earlier that I was feeling a little bit, I don't even think down is the right word, I think just a bit tired and maybe even a little bit overwhelmed. Like the last few weeks for me outside of this whole cruise ship world have just been a little bit intense, and I think, to be honest, everything has probably just caught up with me today between not really sleeping last night and getting up early to get on a flight and then doing the whole embarkation process. And yeah, I think generally speaking I needed just a little bit of time to recharge. So I guess I really hope that last clip didn't come across as a moan. If it did, then wasn't intended at all. But hey look, I now feel a million times better after spending a bit of me time and then coming back and just showering and getting changed. Now, in terms of what I've done between the time that we last spoke to now, I went up to the buffet and got a bite to eat, which we probably need to talk about the buffet on here, because if you've seen my Arcadia vlog series that went live a few weeks ago, you probably have got a bit of a hint that I may have fallen out of love with a couple of elements of the P&O product, one of them being the buffet, particularly on Embarkation Day. On there, I didn't really see much for eating. I think I got like a bit of stir fry and that was pretty much it. Whereas up here today, they had, and I'm not even kidding, they had about 20 different main courses that you could pick from. I'm going to overlap this clip with some little shots that I managed to get of food just while I was picking stuff up, but really, really impressed, so hopefully that continues for the whole duration of the cruise. Now, after that, I went and sat in the sun for what was meant to be five minutes, but turned into 45 minutes, with the majority of that time with me obviously unconscious, so I appear to have woken myself up mid-snore, so I'm hoping that that's not my card marked by everyone that was around me having to put up with what was evidently a very tired person on a sun lounger. But I feel so much better now, which was the main thing, so we're ready to get back to it. Now, this ship's operating a little bit different to what I would have expected actually. And usually I would expect Embarkation Day to finish, if you like, with sail away at roughly about 4 PM, 5 PM. But the reality is, sail away tonight, well, all aboard tonight is at 9:30 PM, so probably suggests that sail away might be 10 PM. Now, I think that's the latest sail away that I've ever seen. The way that Azura is operating right through until, I think she's here right through until the tail end of spring actually, because she primarily services the UK market, right? The ship docks in Tenerife on the Friday, it sails away on the Saturday night, so it does an overnight in port, and some guests will disembark and embark on the Friday, and some will disembark or embark on the Saturday. So what that means is that the ship today is operating as if it's got all the guests still on board, because there's a decent fraction or percentage of the guests who haven't actually left their cruise from last week yet. So it's actually a really nice feel on here, because the ship is definitely operating with a lot more going on than what you would typically see on Embarkation Day. I mean, little examples like they're showing movies up on the top deck, and today they've got 3 different movies playing throughout the day. Now that sort of thing usually wouldn't really happen until day 2 or day 3. So yeah, really, really good to get a bit of a feel for how P&O do this sort of staggered disembarkation and embarkation. I really like it. Now, on saying that, sail away being so late, if you got on today, you have to be back for 8 PM, obviously, so they can do like the safety announcements, they'll sound the fire alarm, the evacuation alarm, so that you know what to do if there's an emergency. But so we need to be back on at 8 PM, which is just a little bit earlier than everyone else. Now that gives me probably about 3.5 hours to get off and do a bit of exploring. And I've never been to this side of the island before. I said earlier that I've been to the south of Tenerife, which is where my mum and dad would always take us on family holidays, because it's really easy to get to from the UK, and typically down there the weather's really good. Now up here you do get a slightly different climate, like today has been pretty cloudy but still really nice and warm in comparison to what we are seeing in the UK right now. Over there it's, I think yesterday was 5 degrees Celsius, whereas here today is 21, so I will definitely put up with a little bit of cloud if that's the case. But my plan really is just to get off. I'm going to take you guys into where I think the main town square is, so we're going to hopefully find that and hopefully not get completely lost on the way back. But yeah, we'll take a wander off and see what's there. We're also joined in port today by 2 other ships. So we've got AIDAsol in, which is one of the AIDA ships, and we've also got Island Princess, which is obviously one of Princess Cruises' ships. And that one in particular actually looks like a tiny little ship, so I'm really keen to look at the floor plan of that and see just how small it actually is. But I'll take you up to the top deck first of all, give you a wee look at those 2 ships because they're directly opposite us in port today, and then from that point we'll disembark and go and check out Tenerife. So yeah, let's get out of the room now. So first impressions of this port are pretty good actually. So you can probably see the ship just poking in behind there at the moment. But you come out the front of the terminal building and there's a sign that just says City Centre, go that way. And I mean, everyone is coming back against me now, so they're obviously going back for dinner. But from what I can gather, it's only like a 15-20 minute walk down here and then you're in like the main square. So watch this space on that one. Hopefully that'll all be fine. But first impressions, really good. Right, before anyone asks, yes, I've come to Tenerife, which is famous for the weather they get over winter. Yes, I'm wearing shorts and t-shirt. And of course, yes, it's just started to rain. This better not come to much. Okay, thank goodness. Take cover for 10 minutes and it's all gone off and it's all absolutely fine. So it turns out this actually is the main square that we've just stumbled upon. This is so near the ships. You probably can't see, but the ship, well, you can kind of see poking up there. The ship is literally right there. So if you are coming off into the port, head for these two tall things here. I think that's probably like a memorial, but that's a building. Aim for that and then you'll be in the square. Now, straight in front of me at the moment is like the main shopping street here, and apparently shopping in Santa Cruz is great. So we're, to be honest, just going to take a walk up there, probably find somewhere to get a coffee, or maybe even a beer, since it's a holiday, and yeah, just see what's on offer before heading back to the ship. The really good thing is that we dock here again next weekend, and because we've got an overnight in port, you don't necessarily have to run about crazy today to see everything. So it's just quite good to get your bearings, to see what you might like to come back and see next weekend. And then yeah, we'll cover this in way more detail in a future vlog. Okay, so I've just bought something that's definitely one of those, like, if you know, you know situations. So these little clips, which if you look, they've got a magnet on the back. I have just literally raided the shop Tiger, which if you've heard of that, it's actually pretty good. You can find everything in there. But I'm going to upload a video which will basically look at the kind of things that you need to think about bringing on a cruise. And this is definitely one that if you've cruised at least once before, you'll know exactly what I'm going to say about them. But yeah, watch this space. But for now, always remember a magnet. So do you know when you buy something like a bag of sweets and you say, okay, it's alright, I'll have them later, I'll save myself for dinner and I'll have them tonight? Well, as you can probably see, it's not going to plan. Okay, on a totally serious note, if you, like me, are the worst snacker in the world and you always try and find stuff to take on your ship with you, then pause this video and take a note of the name of this shop. It is, like, amazing. Look inside. And it's actually pretty cheap, so unfortunately for me, none of what I bought in here actually made it back to the room. The plan was to have stuff for the next couple of nights. However, yeah, given the fact I went in here before dinner and was still hungry, I can definitely confirm that unfortunately everything I ate on the way back to the ship. This has been the definition of a flying visit. I'm now heading back down to the ship purely because when it's starting to get dark, it's actually late enough that, you know, dinner's at 8:30. I probably should head back and start getting ready, otherwise it'll just be stressful trying to get out. But one thing I do know is that I'm really looking forward to coming back here next weekend. It's been really good just to get very rough bearings before coming back and spending the whole day here. So yeah, gonna head back down to the port. I'll show you what it's like on the way down and I'll see you back on the ship. Okay, on the way back, can we pause for a minute and just appreciate this street? This is like, it's the first time I've been somewhere warm at Christmas, and it's amazing to see. So it goes all the way up there and then spin, and it goes all the way down there as well. So going back to my point from earlier, it turns out the location of this port is absolutely brilliant. Plus, look at the size of it. So all the way down there and all the way around, if I go that way, it is huge and it's so clean. It feels like brand new, and it's only actually our ship that's docked here, because the others, as you'll have seen earlier, the others are on the other side of the water. So if you're coming here, you're in for a bit of a treat. This place is so well equipped. But yeah, anyway, let's get through and see you back on board. Okay, so that's us now back in the room. We're actually not going to stay long in here because we'll come back and talk about the plan for tonight. The reason why we're not going to take too long is you'll have seen on the way back down, the Christmas lights were on, so obviously got a little bit later as we were walking back. And one of the ships, so the AIDA ship, is actually about to sail out, so thought it'd be a good opportunity to try and take the camera out, try and get some pictures. So for that reason, I'm grabbing this jacket, which, to be honest, I don't even think I need it. It's still like 19 degrees out there, which is weird for the middle of December. But heading out onto the prom deck and we'll try and get some shots, and then what we'll do, we'll come back in here, I'll walk you through the plan for tonight once I'm ready for dinner. Otherwise, I will run stupidly late. So let's go out onto the deck and then we'll come back in as we're getting ready for dinner. Okay, that's the AIDA ship gone, and that means that I'm back in the room ready to go for dinner. So with P&O, you can actually choose whether you want to go for 3 different dining options when you book your cruise. So number 1 is like freedom dining, they call it, where you really have the ability to just book a table when you want to. You usually find that'll come with like your higher grade rooms. Now, the type of room that I'm in was like a fixed dinner sitting, so obviously I'm in an inside cabin, it's on like the basic rate on the ship. So with that, you get assigned 1 of 2 dining times. Now, my travel agent was able to book me onto the late time because that generally is what I would always do. I really don't like eating at like 6 o'clock, so tonight I'll be dining at 8:30, which is, well, now actually, so this won't take long, don't worry. But so 8:30 is the second dinner time, or the first one is 6:30, so you can find all that information on the daily schedule, which I usually tend to walk through this one day during a vlog series, so yeah, we'll cover that later in the week, probably on the sea day actually. But you've got the 2 dinner times, you've then got freedom. I like the fixed dinner time because the other thing that gives you, if I can find a bit of paper, it also gives you like a set table to go to. So I know that if I go to the Oriental restaurant, which is down on deck 6, I will be sitting at table 75 this week. Now, that can sometimes be good, it can sometimes be a bit of a nightmare, because if you show up to dinner and you don't really get conversation out of people, then it makes dinner relatively awkward for nights 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. But hey, I usually only find problems if I'm cruising with a line that isn't serving the British market. And to be honest, it's not a problem to do with the cruise line, it's a problem on me because I don't speak any other languages. So I have found previously with MSC, if I cruise on their older ships in the Med, it tends to be quite Italian heavy. I've actually just booked a Costa cruise for next year, so I actually think that will be the same. But again, that's not the fault of the cruise line, it's not the fault of anyone. And actually it's not a negative, it's quite nice sometimes to be at a table with everyone else speaking another language. It's just quite difficult when you're a solo traveller, because if the other people around the table aren't used to that, they might find it a bit awkward, they're not really too sure where to look, they're not sure what to try and talk about, or do they just not bother, and yeah. Anyway, hopefully tonight I will get a group of Scottish, English, Irish, whatever people that I can just have a chat with, so that will be great, hopefully. Other than that, the thing I'm most excited about for tonight is, because this is the first time in ages that I've been on a ship in a warmer climate, there's loads of entertainment outside tonight. So up at the main pool, they've got a live band. Yeah, they've got a live band, and then they've also got like a guest entertainer. So realistically, it's just going to be singing by like on the stage, and everyone can just grab a beer and sit and chill out and listen, which actually is going to be so nice to be able to do that up on the top deck. Even when I cruised from Australia a few weeks back, oh, I mean, the weather was just miserable there. It was just such heavy rain that you definitely couldn't use the top deck at night. So that'll be really good. And the other thing I mentioned earlier, that Astonishing is running on this ship, so that's the stage show that's done in conjunction with Stephen Mulhern. Now, don't worry, you don't have to flick over because I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. It is a really, really good show, but this would be my, third time now seeing, actually, fourth time now seeing it. So, to be fair, I think there's not really that much else on. If I can get up to the top deck, chill out and have a drink, listening to a bit of music, I actually probably will then just head to the theatre. It's on at 10:30. It's quite a nice way to pass an hour. And actually the magic in that show is very, very good, where I watched it on Arcadia a few weeks ago and I had no idea how it was working. So maybe tonight I can focus all of my attention on just having one glass of wine and then looking at that stage and trying to figure out where on earth those people go when they go into that box. Magic, I don't get it. Now, anyway, I guess we probably should head down because it is 20 to 9. Which the door closes at 9 to the restaurant, so you get like a 30-minute grace period, which is really good. But sometimes when I sit at a shared table, I actually struggle to like get my camera out and like take a video or take a picture of food. However, I promise that I'll do that down there tonight because I struggled with it on Arcadia and I actually kind of regret it. So look, let's go down for dinner now, and yeah, we'll have a look at what's on the menu. But just last one from me before we go. I think this will be the last time that I'll actually speak to you in this video. I'll do a voiceover for dinner, but for now, hopefully you've enjoyed today. Today obviously has covered how to embark a ship in Tenerife and what that actually looks like. Now tomorrow we're docking in Gran Canaria, so hopefully you'll come back and join us for that, which if you're watching this series live, that'll be coming out next week. Now, plan for tomorrow really is to get out, go for a wander around the town, and also check out the beaches. There's meant to be some great beaches round about where the ship docks, which should be nice, and hopefully we get a bit of sunshine. And well, you never know, maybe this time tomorrow I'll be in this cabin needing to put after sun on, but who knows. Anyway, look, for now, yeah, let's head down for dinner. So yeah, I was down in one of the main dining rooms, so in other words, this one was included in my cruise fare, so I didn't have to pay any extra for it. Now, I did mention that I can get a little bit weird with a camera if other people are at the table, and as you can see, conversation was hardly flowing tonight, so unfortunately I managed to get basically stood up, I guess, by every other traveller who was meant to be at this table. So what it did mean on a positive light is that I got to get the camera out, I can show you guys what the menu looked like, and then I can also show you each course. Now, quality of food on here, I actually thought it was decent. I thought it was a lot better than what I saw in Arcadia a few weeks ago, and I was really looking forward actually to getting in the main dining room again the following night. Now, weirdly for me, I chose not to have a dessert, so I can't show you that. I can only show you my Caesar salad there, and then I believe this was the beef. But all in all, really good. And then it was up to the top deck to listen to a bit of music. So yeah, after a walk around the top deck in the heat, which was very weird for the middle of winter, it was down to the theatre to watch the show tonight. So yeah, look, I really enjoyed this, and it's actually quite a nice way to spend the night, to just grab a glass of wine, float in there, and just chill out and enjoy your night. After that, it was an early night for me, but I did want to stop by the main atrium and show you guys the Christmas decorations just before finishing this video. The ship this week looked absolutely beautiful. You can see here, it was completely decked out all the way up to the top with garlands and trees everywhere, which you will see throughout this vlog series. But hey, look, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. My next upload will be day 2 of this cruise, which will be Gran Canaria tomorrow. And yeah, I'll catch up with you soon, but thanks for watching. Cheers, guys. Bye.